What? Won't you be my baby? They couldn't take your place, baby. Star 927. Everywhere you go. Oh, yeah. Digital banking, online, RBC. RBC Banking Online. Pay your bills anytime.
RBC Digital Banking is so easy. Even Granny and Granddad can do it. Sign up for online banking or download the RBC Caribbean app.
With RBC, it's safe and easy. Send your money hassle-free. RBC.
Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/bank at home. RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
Roll back. Roll back.
Every Wednesday and Thursday, all Rubis stations are rolling back the price on all fuel purchases by 20 cents. Every customer will save 20 cents on every gallon of fuel purchased on Wednesday and Thursday. Every customer. Only at Rubis.
Roll back. Roll back.
Only at participating Rubis service stations.
To all school staff and especially our teachers,
we want to say thank you.
Thank you for your innovation.
For the online lessons over Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Class Dojo.
Or on Everest and Edmodo, where I can easily access timetables and homework.
Thank you for your kindness.
For providing me with a laptop so I could still do my exam prep and revision classes.
Thank you for your commitment.
For coming up with fun ways to make schoolwork exciting.
Thank you for your thoughtfulness.
And your encouragement.
For staying in touch.
So finding time to check on me and my family just to make sure that we're all doing okay.
We want you to know that
we appreciate everything you do as educators.
Thank you for all that you do. Thank you.
A message on behalf of all government school students.
We understand that things are different, and we are committed to providing you with the service that you need with convenience through our MyCUC online portal. Working remotely and students being home from school doesn't have to mean higher electricity bills. Monitor and manage your energy consumption by using our Customer Connect energy management tool. This allows you to track and make adjustments to your energy usage to avoid consuming high amounts of electricity and keep your electricity bill lower. Protect your health and the health of others by avoiding crowds and using PowerPay to manage payments for accounts from wherever you are most comfortable. If you're not signed up for MyCUC as yet, it's quick and easy. Just contact our customer service team at service@cuc.ky or 949-5200 today. Remember, we're all in this together, and you've got the power to make a difference.
Live from Star 927 Studios in the center of Cayman's capital city, Georgetown. This is Straight Talk with Ruth Anna.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. You are tuned into Straight Talk, brought to you exclusively by Star 92.7 Premium Radio. I am your host, Ruth Anna Young. Always honored to be your host here on Straight Talk every Monday through Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here and nowhere else other than Star 92.7. It is 5:03 on the Star 92.7 clock, and it is the 2nd of July. I will go no further without wishing my younger sister happy birthday. Regina is celebrating her 31st birthday today. I dare not call her my baby sister, but she is my younger sister. So if you see her, if you know her on Facebook, show her some love. But she is a Cancer baby, a Cancerian. Let me make sure we understand. And so she's celebrating her birthday today. So happy birthday to you. And I am joined in studio this afternoon from 5 to 5:30 by Alyssa and Dane from Flow. So I'll get to catch up with them for the first half an hour about their superhero plan. We are on a countdown. You have one more day to go, and some exciting new offerings. So we will chat with them for the first half of the show, and then I will have open mic from 5:30 until 6 o'clock. 943-3700 is the line in studio. You can also WhatsApp me from 324-1565. And if talking ain't your thing, you can email me at straighttalkci@gmail.com. And we are also streaming live video from the Star 92.7 Facebook page. But you guys know the deal. Before I go any further into this conversation, we always start our time with the reading of today's Daily Bread. So today's Daily Bread is entitled Talking Bananas, and the scripture comes from Acts 11 verse 23 and reads, Barnabas encouraged them all to remain true to the Lord with all their hearts. Never give up, Be the reason someone smiles. You're amazing. It isn't where you come from, it's where you're going that counts. Some school children in Virginia Beach, Virginia found these messages and more written on bananas in their lunchroom. Craft's cafeteria manager, Stacy Truman, took the time to write the encouraging notes on the fruit, which the kids dubbed talking bananas. These caring outreach reminds me of Barnabas's heart for the spiritual youngsters in the ancient city of Antioch. Barnabas was famous for his ability to inspire people. Known as a good man full of faith and the Holy Spirit, he prompted the new believers to remain true to the Lord with all their hearts. I imagine he spent time with those he wanted to help, saying things like, keep praying, trust the Lord, stay close to God when life is hard. New believers, like children, need loads of encouragement. They're full of potential. They're discovering what they're good at. They may not fully realize what God wants to do in and through them, and often the enemy works overtime to prevent their faith from flourishing. Those of us who've walked with Jesus for a while understand how hard living for Jesus can be. May all of us be able to give and receive encouragement as God's Spirit guides us and reminds us of spiritual truth. Thanks be to God for that word today. As always, here on Straight Talk, we remind you, we encourage you to spend time each and every day focused on His word, meditating on His grace and how awesome He is. With that, I head on over to my guest in the virtual studio. I have Alyssa and Dean in studio with me from Flow. And Dean, this is going to be very strange, right? Because it's your first time. It's going to be your first time here with me on Straight Talk, which means you will not escape who your mama is today.
I knew it was coming. I was preparing for it. I was prepared for it, man.
Before we go any further, everybody is dying to know who your mama is.
That's an easy one. I'm proud of that. Juanita Ebanks is my mom. She's a twin. And so I've been blessed to have two moms. So I can also say Pat Ramon, but Juanita Ebanks stand as that firm and powerful woman in my life.
Okay. And give us a little more than that, right? Like who your mama isn't literally just about your mom. So like 2 minutes, tell us a little bit about yourself, some of the not resume version, some of the non-resume version. Like you gotta give us some of the tea. Come on.
Absolutely. My mom was born in Kingston, Jamaica, and she migrated here. I would say, man, it's been like, 38, 39 years now. She's been living here. She has worked in the financial industry all her life. She started off as a teller in Scotiabank and then has moved on to the ranks since. Now she works for the Cayman Islands Monetary Authority. And that's what she's been doing ever since. She has always raised us to be very straightforward and bothful, speaking people, creative individuals. She always allows us to express ourselves. I am the younger brother of 10, if you can believe that, on my dad's side. Yeah, 10, man, 10.
I did not know that, Dave.
Yeah. If I show you guys the pictures of my brothers, you guys would be shocked. We're like a copy and paste. I think Renegade have seen a lot of the pictures of my brothers and stuff. But I am the younger sibling of 10 brothers. All boys. We got 2 girls, but 10 boys. Yeah, man.
See, this is why I do who your mama is, right? This is why I do it. And tell us a little, youngest of 10 boys on your dad's side, right? And tell us a little bit more about you. I know you are definitely, I know a lot of things about you, so and I'm sure there's lots I don't know. But if you could just share a little bit more about kind of some of the things you do, who you are, with the public.
Yeah, definitely. So
listen to you on radio. Otherwise.
So Dane Ramon, I am 35 years old. I am a husband, a father of 3 kids. I've always been intrigued with 2 things in my life: technology and media. So I've always been in telecom and media for over 16 years now, both of them 16 years. And I've worked in radio. You probably used to hear me on Star 92.7 with Renegade on the morning show. And now I'm with a different station working over there. But I've always just been structured around like media and technology. That's really like the shortest summary I can give myself. And without forgetting too, I am a son of God. So I have been a Christian for over 6 or 7 years now. So yes,
Awesome.
that's a short summary.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. And Alyssa, how are you doing? We're going to talk about superheroes shortly, but how are
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah, all good over here. We've got kids are good. They're on summer break, so a little bit easier at home.
Mummies and daddies are happy. All right.
Yeah.
Not
Camp starting
listening.
next week, so a little bit of normalcy. And then of course the flow, we've got lots of exciting things, lots and lots and lots happening. Obviously, we'll talk about superhero stuff today, but
Yes.
stay tuned because we have something really big tomorrow that we're so excited for. But I
Oh
can't tell you till
my.
tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, come on. I'm not on air on Fridays. You have to start doing like big announcements.
Sorry.
You have to do big announcements on like Wednesday and Thursday. Okay. Like
I really do try. I do like a midweek launch for things, but we can't wait. And
Okay.
so stay tuned, but we will be on with you. Actually, I think we are going to be on with you next week,
Okay.
Yeah.
Wednesday. I'll check
Okay.
my calendar.
Okay, no
Yeah,
problem.
keep me in mind, Dane. But follow Facebook tomorrow.
Okay, good stuff. So right now we're talking about superheroes. I've had the opportunity. I think we spoke when you guys launched the superhero bundle, and I think we did like a midway check-in. But now you have 1 day left. Tomorrow is the last day that new customers can sign up for the superhero bundle. So I want to first start for those who may not have gotten this information before. I think last year was your hero bundle. Was it last year?
It was last year, yeah.
Yeah, last year was a hero bundle. This year you decided to roll out the superhero bundle. And so for those who may be less familiar, what is included in your superhero bundle at Flow?
Yeah, so the superhero bundle is 200 megs of broadband, so super fast speeds. Our TV watch all package, which is over 150 channels, and it's $200. So I know we've been talking about this for a long time, but it's $1 per meg, right? Which is like the best rate in the market. And then TV's just thrown in there for free, essentially. So yeah, $200 a month, and it's not leaving. The plan is still going to be here. It's just that tomorrow is the last day for new customers to get that first month free, and existing customers that upgrade over to the plan will keep their existing broadband package priced for 1 month. But tomorrow's the last day to do that.
To benefit from that freeness. Right?
Right.
A little bit of extra.
Yeah. A little bit of extra savings. Yeah.
Yes. And I always want to clarify this for people, because if you're like me, I've never been great at understanding, what is the importance? Like, what does it mean to someone to say, okay, you're going to get 200 megs, right, of internet? I think most people are just like, okay, well, if I'm video streaming or if I'm watching Netflix, what does that mean for me? So and maybe Dane, you want to take this, but why, like, what does it mean when you have 200 megs, right? What's the benefit of that?
That's easy, man. And that's why we call it the superhero plan, because it's just speed. It's in layman terms, you're signing up for the speed that you've always wanted, and that's reliability also, and stability too. Now, Flow has always been like striving off of this, and this is something that we just want to improve, because we're always improving every single year. And one of the things that we learned, especially during the COVID-19, is that customers are wanting more. If you're stuck in the house, you're watching Netflix, you're downloading more, you're uploading more, you're streaming more. The kids, perhaps you've purchased every single iPad that exists. And in one household, you're constantly streaming 24/7. So you want to make sure your speed is right. And that's what we're guaranteeing you with a superhero plan like this, with 200 megs of data. That's like, there's nothing that can go wrong in your household. I'm sorry, it's a superhero plan.
Okay.
You will always have the speed.
And I think of my sister's household. She has 3 kids, 3 through 12, and even the 3-year-old, like, it's a fight over the cell phone or her iPad. Like you say, everyone has an iPad. Then there's, not to mention, there was the computers for school in the midst of all of this, and the TV that streams Netflix, and cell phones that connect to the internet, and everybody minus a 3-year-old has a cell phone, right? So there's 4 cell phones in the one household. And so that, speed becomes very important, not just because there are more people in a house, but when you really think of how many devices we typically connect to the internet in the average household, because that's not unusual, right?
Yeah.
That's key, Ruth. That's key. It's not necessarily about people, right? It's about your devices. You're absolutely right. And it's those devices that you forget about, right? You've got your smart home cameras, you've got Alexa, you've got smart TV, all these things that you kind of forget about, but they're tapped in to your broadband, and they're, taken away from your speed, cell phones, laptops, all the obvious stuff. But then, and now everybody's got smart thermostats, and it's never ending.
True. I mean, think about those little things, and then when people start fussing and say, "Well, why is the internet on my phone not working?" Well, maybe because you don't have the right speed for the other 10 to include the other 10 devices you have in the household. And I think it's because it's so second nature to us now, to connect things to Wi-Fi, and we forget that it's not just the cell phone or it's not just the computer. It is all of those little devices that draw on your internet. And if you want them all to operate consistently and without dropping, you have to have adequate internet speed, right?
Absolutely.
And now things are opening up, right? So people are going to start coming back over, and you give out your Wi-Fi password because you're nice and you want people to be connected while they're there, right? So every little bit adds up. So it's super important.
As opposed to having to say, nope, can't connect you to the Wi-Fi. You're going to slow down the TV.
Hey, I was just about to say that because it's true, man. I've been in households before, of course, non-flow households, where people would have to turn off certain devices because they're like, hey, we're just not getting the stream that we want from this one device. And that's why we strive ourselves. Our retail store representatives are called specialists for a reason, because it's not everyone that's going to need 200 megs of data, but we specialize in understanding what your needs are. What are you looking for? And this is for the household, and these are for the individuals that are requiring higher speeds because you're downloading more, you're streaming more. And like what Alyssa said, you have smart devices that's going to need to be powered by more speed. So you're going to have to look into promotions like this, and that's why we're giving you such extreme speed at a very inexpensive price, by the way.
And let me, just for knowing, if someone were to purchase 200 megs of, just the internet, what would it normally cost them?
I'm gonna tell you that 100 megs was $200. So we're giving you double for the same price.
Plus TV.
Sure.
Plus TV, all TV channels.
Okay, and so it includes your Watch All TV. And so I want to specifically remind people as well that Flow has TV, right? And because I know that I was definitely one of those people who often forgot that as what we often view as a telephone provider, and even an internet provider, also includes or has an option to include TV. And so what are some of the stations that you think people care about that's included in the Watch All TV, like the Watch All TV channels? Because more than 150 channels.
Yeah, and they're always changing, right? Like we're always, on a weekly basis, I'm getting emails from the regional team adding, and it's so diverse. There's a lot of different channels for different ethnicities, which is really great. The kids have stuff. There's stuff for cooking and sports and pets, and you name it.
Listen,
we have it.
Yep.
And there's video on demand. You can go, you can record, you can go back, you can rewind. So that's a great. I always say my kids, they have a real problem with instant gratification, and that's due to technology these days, So when they want to watch something right now, I can actually go back at least 24 hours and find that show that they want to watch and just play it for them. So it makes my life a little bit easier. Or, if I miss something that I want to watch, or, whatever the case may be, and you can pause it. It was great for, the government channel is channel 106. On Flow TV, so that's CIG TV. Okay. And for the press briefings, 9 times out of 10, I'm on a call or in a meeting or dealing with kids or making lunch, and I can just replay it. And pause it or skip something that I don't want, you know what I mean? Whatever I want to do. So
Yes.
that's my favorite part about Flow TV.
And
Yeah.
because I'm quite like that, right? And I have to interject there because I remember from the first time that you came on the show to talk about the superhero bundle, and I am one of those people who I was like, let me see if TV Watch All has Food Network and HGTV, because like for me, if it don't have that, it is not a TV bundle, right? And so
Yeah.
I was like, oh yes, yeah, I'm right there. Food Network, HGTV, and HGTV in HD as well, right? But you also have all of your all your news channels. You have things like Tempo and Hype TV. So you have, regional channels as well as the local channels. You have your ministry channels and the church channel for those who want to tune into TBN, because I know that a lot of the women in my family, especially from my mom's generation, the one before, like TBN is like that's their beat, right? And
Yeah.
all your sports channels as well as Flow Sports and all your major news networks. For those who, if you're like my dad, like the TV stays on news 24/7, and that is his, and that's the living room TV. Okay, so nobody else gets used to that unless he's
Yeah.
and it's on just in case you get up to get a glass of water in the middle of the night, and there's Trump on TV. So, and so all of BET, all like everything, like there's so many things covered in the Watch All package. And
Movie channels. Yeah. I mean, they're
Yeah.
all there.
and foreign language stations, by the way, right? Because there's Russia Today in there as well.
Yeah.
The German channels, NFL Red Zone HD is in there. And for those who are Fox Business, I'm one of those people who watches Fox Business early in the morning. So that was one of the other things that I looked out for. So it literally covers something for everybody in the family, in addition to 200 megs of internet. And for those who are video gamers, right, is 200 megs, like, can you do video games on 200 megs?
It's like going to heaven. It's like going to heaven without going to heaven, man. For video gamers, that's what it is. It's like
This is true. This is gamers. Like these are ideal speeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not a video gamer, but like I have enough video gamers in my circle of influence that the conversation about internet and the gamers in the house, like, no, there's conversations like, no, we're gonna have to get them their own box because they won't come off they won't come off
Yeah.
the video games, and they're streaming or they're playing live for
Correct.
hours. And so if there is a gamer in the house, then it always for in a lot of households, I know there's always this competition for the internet, literally. And so you're saying that this amount of megs are what is adequate to allow the gamer to game and mom to do the work, or even wife to do the work.
Correct. You won't have, because I don't think a lot of people realize in the household, like when the more that you're congesting the network, that's the less that you're going to get from different devices. We've improved that, and we want to make that statement very clear that this is the type of plan that you need to get if you're looking for stability, especially because of COVID-19. Some of the things that people realized that they were good at, some people became on-air personalities. Everybody were creating streams and Zoom meetings, and they were doing radio interviews. There were Twitch was a big thing for gamers. They were constantly on Twitch and they were playing games live. But at the same time, your fiance or your wife was just down the hallway on a Zoom call, and you don't want to interrupt that because live streaming takes a lot of congestion, right?
Yeah.
So that's what 200 megs of data is giving you. It's giving you that reliability. It's giving you stable speeds, and it's making sure you can do whatever you want. Your household is a major corporation. You're running a major corporation in your household with this type of speed. You are Flow.
And you know what? I think the work from home is for many people to some degree, even if it's not full days. I hear, conversations about, companies who will allow staff to maintain a certain amount of hours in terms of work from home. So you will see more of that. We know that online schooling, depending on how this all transpires, may continue to be for some a way of life, at least for the short term future. And the cell phone is still very much a part of the equation, the smart devices, as you said. And so as people really consider that the increased need for a stable, strong internet stream that can power a multitude of devices all at the same time, it becomes that much more of an important conversation, right? It's not one of the things that I thought about is at one point these things were luxuries, right? It's a nice to have. And what we've found is that through all of this, having adequate and stable, internet that can power all the things we need it to power becomes somewhat of a necessity almost, right? To be able to, if you're going to do all those things, to be able to do them and not have to make sacrifices in terms of the speed at which you can do them.
Yeah.
And I know that there were people that I know that had to upgrade their internet because when you do the whole remote login thing from work, you are engaging through the internet, right? And to allow that to be stable, you had to have adequate and stable internet. So I think that's something that has to be considered as more people look at the reality that the COVID scenario it's kind of partly here to stay, right? So it takes on a whole new life when you look at what is adequate internet, in your home. And so just as a reminder to those who are just tuning in, if they want to get signed up, for those who want to get signed up and not miss the first free month as a new customer, they have until tomorrow. How do they reach out to Flow? How do they get signed up for this plan?
Yeah, so a couple different ways. They can visit our Galleria or Countryside retail stores. If they want to speak to an agent or get out of the house or whatever. Our virtual WhatsApp store is here to stay. Again, that's a WhatsApp number. You cannot call it. And that number is 925-3569. And then if you just want to speak to one of our local customer care team agents, they can call 747-5050. Everything's still on the website, all the information. So discoverflow.ky/superhero. And on that landing page, if it's after hours or you can't talk during work and you don't want to forget about this, fill out the form. It'll come to our team and we will reach out to you at your designated, at your preferred day and time that you want to be contacted. So as soon as you remember, fill it out and then we'll take that hassle away from you.
Awesome. And I know you said you have a big announcement tomorrow, but any you want to give us any hints at what we might be looking at tomorrow? Or
Oh, I really want to. They know this.
Okay, a girl's got to ask.
It's killing me. All I can tell you is that you want to pay attention to our social media page tomorrow. That's all I can tell you.
How and how do they find you on social media?
At Flow Cayman Islands.
Okay, and that's Facebook and Instagram.
Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, fair enough. So I'd like to give each of you, a minute or so for final thoughts. So Alyssa, final thoughts and reminders from you for the listening public, and then Dean.
I just want to say, pop over to our social media page and throughout all of this, obviously we have our own superheroes within Flow. We've brought you the superhero package. To me, everybody's been a superhero through COVID. It's not been easy for anybody, frontline workers, everybody in Cayman, especially the kids. Shout out to them. So we have our own superhero project that we just launched today. And so we've nominated some of our superheroes. Some of the Flow staff have nominated our real life superheroes. So we've told you why. And what we want is the public and our customers to respond to that video, upload their own video nominations of their real life superheroes. Tell us who they are. Tell us why. They have until July 24th. And then we're going to choose two of the nominations to win the superhero bundle for free for a year. We're going to give away some TVs. We're going to give some Samsung giveaways, some phones. So it'll be a whole package for those two superhero winners. And we're really touched, by all that we've been able to do for Cayman, and that everybody's really come together. And so we just want to say thank you and give back.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And Dean, final thoughts and reminders from you today.
Absolutely. Just to keep it really short, man. Alyssa said a lot, and those are really crucial information. And we can't wait to announce a surprise. I think the best hint I can give is just history in the making. But I also want to remind customers that you kind of want to remember what you've been saying during COVID, that you just don't want okay service. You don't want an okay doctor. You don't want an okay insurance provider. You don't want an okay relationship, right? Ladies, I know you heard that loud and clear. you want you want the best. You want the best, and that's what Flow is giving you. And tomorrow we're going to prove it. We're extending that even more. So we can't wait for you to see the surprise, and we're going to continue to give you the best products that we have to offer because you deserve it.
Awesome. Thank you both. It was a privilege and a pleasure as always. I'm going to keep my eye on what's going on social media because I am super curious and dying to know
Oh,
what's all that.
it's so good. I
They even
can't.
drop a hint like history in the making. Come on. Like
This is like the first teaser. We haven't hinted to anything. So at least you can give a hint. At
okay.
least you got that.
Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. And I'm like, man, what could he be talking about? Like
You think the superhero is good? You just wait.
Yeah.
Right, Dane?
Yeah.
Back me
Yes.
up here.
It's going to be big.
Oh dear. See, I don't need any help losing sleep at night.
It's Christmas in July. Like
Yes.
it's so
Yes.
good.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep my eye out. So listen, folks, tomorrow is the last day. If you want to benefit from the first free month for new customers for the Flow Superhero Bundle, you have until tomorrow to get signed up for that. However, the Superhero Bundle is here to stay, but tomorrow is the last day to benefit from those savings. And you've heard them say, they have a new big announcement coming out tomorrow as well. So keep your eye on their social media channels on both Facebook and Instagram. And certainly I look forward to having them back, hopefully next week, if that's the correct date, but having you back very soon to share, some more exciting news and what you guys launched and the exciting things that you are up to. But thank you guys for coming in. Guys, it is now 5:30 on the Star 92.7 clock, and I'm going to be right back after the break. When we come back, I will be in my open mic segment until 6 o'clock this evening. So keep it locked for some more Straight Talk on Star 92.7.
Join the conversation. The phone lines are now open. 943-3700. You can also find us on Facebook or email us at straighttalkci@gmail.
Cayman National's online banking is still the best way for you to bank, and at Cayman National, you can access your banking when you need it. Enjoy safer, easier, and discounted banking from the comfort of your home or wherever you are. Manage your everyday banking needs, such as checking account activity, paying bills, transferring funds between accounts internally and domestically, and much more. Remember, we're stronger together through our efforts to keep the Cayman community healthy.
Burger King has been a part of the Cayman family for decades, and we know our family needs a little extra help right now. So we're introducing the best Whopper deal on the planet. 4 Whoppers for just $10.
We are family. I got 4 big Whoppers with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, let's eat.
The Burger King Family Bundle. 4 Whoppers for just $10. Available at all Burger King drive-thrus for a limited time.
Flow continues to keep your family connected by bringing you the fastest speeds and best price. Last year, we brought you the Hero Plan. This year, we introduce you to the Superhero Plan. Get our Superhero Plan with 200 megabytes of broadband and TV watch all for only $200 per month. Are you a new customer? Get the first month free when you sign up by July 3rd. Visit discoverflow.ky/hero for details. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Flow Cayman Islands. Terms and conditions apply. Flow, you deserve the best.
Do you like winning? How about winning free gas? Free gas from Rubis is as simple as follow, like, tag, and share. Say what? You heard it right. Follow, like, tag, and share. Winners selected daily on our social media platforms. Go to Rubis on Facebook and Instagram. Follow, like, tag 5 friends, and share the post. It's that simple. Daily winners drawn for $25 fuel vouchers. So that's like earning, 1 minute of work. It's 60 minutes for an hour. $25 divided by carry the 1. No, forget it. It's definitely worth your time to follow, like, tag, and share with Rubis and win.
All I do is win, no matter what.
Rubis, fuel the difference.
Welcome back to Straight Talk with Ruth Anna on Star 927.
We are back, folks, and you are tuned into Straight Talk, brought to you exclusively by Star 92.7 Premium Radio. I am your host, Ruth Anna Young, with you until 6 o'clock this evening. It is now 5:34 p.m. on the Star 92.7 clock, and I'm going to take the opportunity to once again wish my sister happy birthday. She is 31 today, and she absolutely does not like all of this attention, so that's why I'm just completely going overboard with it as her older sister, and she will send me obscene messages and all of those kinds of things between now and 6 o'clock. But I love her for it, and I'm excited that she's passed, she's over the 30 mark. So happy birthday to you, Regina. And we will go on until 6 o'clock as per usual. 943-3700 is the line in studio. You can also WhatsApp me 324-1565, or you can email me at straighttalkci@gmail.com. We are going into an open mic segment this afternoon, and whatever you want to talk about, Cayman, but certainly there's some big announcements that have come out today. There was the ruling on the judicial review by the appellates. We're going to talk about that for a bit as well. I've gotten a multitude of phone calls today regarding, and received a petition that's circulating as well regarding the announcement that the school day is likely to be extended, at least in the short to medium term, to make up for, I guess, what the reports in relation to people who, education during COVID. And so we will talk about that as well, along with anything that is on your mind today. And, anything that you want to talk about, I want to talk about as well. There seems to be, and there's, lots of chatter around the ruling that came down from the court this morning, turning over Justice Tim Owen's ruling of the judicial review, and in essence, ruling in favor of the government in relation to that judicial review. So we're going to talk about that as well. And just a quick reminder, there were today's COVID results. In terms, there were 252 tests reported, none of which were positive today. So that's more good news in that department. And also another bulletin, a press release that came out. The Department of Commerce and Investment wishes to advise current holders of liquor license without a trade and business license to submit an application to the Trade and Business Licensing before August 31st, 2020. Effective October 1, 2020, all liquor license holders are required to have a valid trade and business license along with a liquor license to sell and distribute intoxicating liquor. This is pursuant to the liquor license law, which was revised in 2016. Included in the change was the requirement for a liquor license holder to obtain a valid trade and business license prior to holding a liquor license. When the law came into effect in 2016, holders of valid liquor license were given an exemption for a transition period. The exemption expires on September 2020. Members of the public can contact the Department of Commerce and Investment for trade and business licensing information at 945-0934, or you can email them at info@dci.gov.ky. I will go straight to some of the press releases that I received today in relation to the ruling in the court. I do have the press release that came out from the Progressives email, and also the press release that came out from CPR Cayman. So the press release that came out from the Progressives, essentially on behalf of the Premier, says the Court of Appeal today ruled that the port referendum law passed by the Legislative Assembly on the 30th of October 2019 is constitutional, and set aside the earlier ruling of the acting Grand Court Judge Owen, which had quashed the law. The appeal court agreed with the government that Section 70 of the Constitution does not require a general framework law for a people's initiated referendum, contrary to the earlier ruling of Judge Owen. Premier Honorable Alden McLaughlin said he was pleased with the Court of Appeal's decision. Government's decision to go forward with the appeal at this time was a matter of principle. Judges should not have the right to overturn policies that have been made by elected officials as they see fit. And he also continues on to say, I have never been a populist leader, nor am I a good politician in the generally understood sense. I have always striven to do what I believe is in the best interest of my country and people without concern of political consequences. The Premier also went on to say, although I believe with all my core that Cayman will come to course, that the day and the hour that the cruise and cargo port project was squashed, that was not the reason for proceeding with the appeal. Were it so, we would not have appealed. And so that was the release that came out from the Progressives. And I also want to share, because before discussing, I always like to share what has come out directly from the different organizations, and I will share that one with you very shortly because CPR did send out their press release today as well. And here we go. And so CPR Cayman sent out their press release, and that reads, on Thursday, 2nd of July, the Court of Appeal issued its decision setting aside the earlier decision of Justice Tim Owens, acting judge of the Grand Court, in which he ruled that the law enacted by government to establish the process and procedure for the conduct of the referendum on the proposed cruise ship berthing facility was unconstitutional. The judicial review challenge was brought by Shirley Ralston, one of the executive members of CPR Cayman, with the support of CPR Cayman. At the Grand Court level, Justice Owen QC found that the law that was passed by government was inconsistent with the requirements of the Cayman Islands Constitution, which he said confers a right on the people of the Cayman Islands to have referendums carried out in a manner that is fair and effective, not just to have referendums. He found that in order for referendums to be carried out fairly, the government must pass standing or general law setting out how all people's initiated referendums should be carried out rather than a different law for each referendum, which would allow government to stake the odds of success in the referendum in its own favor, something it appears to have attempted to do in the law it passed to govern the referendum on the proposed cruise berthing port. The Court of Appeal overturned the Grand Court decision, finding that the judgment below had gone too far in finding the port referendum law to be unconstitutional. However, the judges of the Court of Appeal also made the following observations, and this is quoted in the press release. It says, "In the circumstances of this case, we can understand why the judge reached the decision that he did. These included what were, from a legal point of view, false starts by the government in relation to setting the referendum question and date before enacting the port referendum law, and evidence on the substantive matters relied on by the respondent, which the judge considered and provided considerable support for the argument that an unequal playing field, which was heavily stacked in favor of the government side, had been created. They also included an apparent failure by government to consult the Constitutional Commission before deciding how to respond to this, the first People's Initiated referendum, and a background of very surprising responsiveness by government to two significant and highly relevant documents prepared by the Commission. However, for the reasons set out in Part 5, we have been driven to conclude that this appeal must be allowed." And it goes on. It is a lengthy press release, and certainly anyone who may wish to read the press release in full, I would be happy to send it to you via WhatsApp. You can also WhatsApp me 324-1565 because I know that there are many people who like to read all of the details. But what I will share today is that this has been a very long road for the people and for the government, and I think that regardless of what the outcomes are, and people have watched this journey and continue to watch this journey around the decisions for cruise berthing and the People's Initiated referendum, the petition that would have led to that had it's been seen its course, along with this process of a judicial review. We are coming up to an election year, and what this process has demonstrated for me is that when the people want to, when we the people want to, we can engage, we can come together, we can stand and fight for the things that we believe in with such fervor and such a determination that I have never, ever, ever seen in this country, I think in my lifetime. And it has been a pleasure to witness and it's not even Caymanians, because this has united people from every walk of life, all fronts, all, just every background, every nationality, and just brought people together in a way that I have not witnessed in a very, very long time, and has engaged the public over a set of issues and forced people to pay attention. And what I encourage, and it sets a precedent as to what we can do, what we can achieve when we deem things important enough, and when we put forward the effort regardless. And I am so proud of what, like, everything that's been accomplished, and the way people have participated, the fact that people have gotten registered to vote just to participate. I think that it has just been an incredible journey to watch along the way. And I put this all in the backdrop of the fact that 2021 is an election year for us, and it should be no different at all times in this country, that we truly need to take time, as hard as it can be. I know that so many times, people will say to me, listen, the little bit of news that I get is when I can tune into Straight Talk in the evening, right? Because people will literally count on shows like Straight Talk to bring you the news, to bring you the information, because you don't have the time in the day. And however it is you can get the information, you choose to get the information, I encourage everybody to stay engaged in what is happening in this country and stop making things catch us by surprise, as we often have in the past. And that has been, and I've used this example already. I remember when there was an uproar, a public uproar over the overpass that was coming essentially from Cayman Bay over to the beach side. And many of us felt very caught off guard. And that happened, in an earlier in my time in Straight Talk. And I've talked about this on air time and time again. One of the first things that I did was I said, well, did we have the opportunity to know about this before? Because I didn't want to actually get upset for something that I didn't participate in a process to do something about. And when I looked back, the reality is that there were lots in it was recorded in media and otherwise, that you could see that there had been time for public consultation. There had been, sessions done, and information had been put out there. But maybe we just didn't pay attention enough. Maybe we had, and I know, yes, at the time when um at the time when all of that was happening, I personally wasn't living on island at the time. However, this is still my home. This is still my country, and I should very much still take responsibility for knowing what is going on. And so I encourage you that always, always, always pay attention, be vigilant, speak out, get involved, get the information. And that is whether it is an election or a cruise berthing or a new road or, changing of laws. We know that the Legislative Assembly has been in session. So many things have been discussed. And if CIGTV, YouTube, please make sure that if you have not had the opportunity to watch it live, you go back and watch the videos. So much information is coming out right now. We are still, in my opinion, very much still in the midst of this global pandemic, and so we're still grappling with all of these things, and it can be very hard to really make time to deal with it all and to pay attention. But we see how important it is. We see what happens when we don't pay attention and participate, but we also see what happens when we do. We see what difference we can make. We see how many people can be brought together to make a difference, to make a change, to make our voices heard. And we know that it is in the numbers. And so I just encourage you, please stay involved, please stay engaged, because this has set that precedent. Another thing that's on my mind, and I've gotten so many phone calls today about this, phone calls and messages about this today. And I want to touch on this because people are really having some heightened emotions over a lot of this. And I am going to take a snippet from a Cayman News Service article that was written yesterday. And I think it's very helpful for those who may not have gotten the information. But before I do that, I will go to the phone lines. Welcome to Straight Talk. What's in your mind today?
Hi, Ruthanna.
Yes, you are on air.
Hi, this is Eden Hurlston. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, despite the decision that was handed down today. We win overall anyways, because like you said, we have shown that the people will gather, the people will listen, the people will act, and keep our government accountable and in check, and that we will stand together for something we believe in to protect our people and our island. And that is an overarching victory that has come out of this, despite the different smaller decisions that have been made within it to form how this relates to the Constitution, the overall framework of referendums. So
absolutely, and I think that has been, I think, the most just marked thing for me, and I've said it so many times. I am amazed at how people on this island and across the globe really have come together over all of this, and it's been quite phenomenal to watch and to witness and to be a part of. Yeah. And did you watch the court proceedings live today?
I watched the first part of it, and then the second part I couldn't get the stream to load when they came back from the break. But I was just keeping updated through the groups and things like that. And by the time I got it up and going, it was already it happened quite quickly after the break, it seemed. So that the results were handed down. But legalese is not my first language, so it was
the press releases and the news articles are helpful.
Most definitely so. And talking with the folks who are deeply involved in the trenches on this, heroes who were leading the way, and sitting in the courtroom and spending the endless hours preparing those legal notes and those legal briefs and the presentations. I cannot express how much respect I have for Miss Shirley and her dream team.
Yeah, Miss Shirley is all our hero, I think. Absolutely. So what else is on your mind today?
Well, it's really in respect to talking about being active and registering to vote. Along with what you were saying about people staying aware, about people getting the news, and about people being impassioned about things, that is something that, as things change in Cayman, so many people say, "Oh, Cayman is just too apathetic. We're just too nice. We're just, and we should never risk losing that element of Cayman kind. But that sense of apathy, and that we're gonna talk in the corners, but when it comes time to stand up, we're too nice to do it. That is changing.
It is,
and that is a key thing that is that people need to understand, and people need to get impassioned, whether it's about, maybe there's people who are hungry in your neighborhood and you feel like they're being ignored. Maybe it's schools, maybe it's the environment, maybe it's job creation, like you had those two guys on, those young guys on yesterday, talking about getting involved in the dive industry. And we all know we need more Caymanians involved in tourism, being our ambassadors, being the face of Cayman and our visitors' experience. And get impassioned about these things. Everybody just pick one or two things that affect you or that you are passionate about, that you see happening around you. Get active on it. Talk to people. Organize, strategize, and realize. And when it comes time to stand up, don't be afraid to stand up. Because this is our country.
I think
this is our time.
I think you make such an important point in respect to, you don't have to be passionate about everything. Right? Most of us have one or two things that we are incredibly passionate about.
Right.
And I think that is one of the key things I took from what you just said. Whatever you are individually passionate about, be passionate about that and get involved in it, right? And because there are equally often other people who are also passionate about it, and you just have to start reaching out and, like you say, organizing, because there are some people who will be very passionate about the environment and others not so much. There are those who will be passionate about tourism. There's people who will be passionate about food and hunger. And there's people who will be passionate about jobs. There'll be people who are passionate about, immigration. There's so many things that we need to be passionate about. I think that it's not, the expectation is not that everybody has to be passionate and active on every single issue. Right? Just pick the things that matter to you the most and be a voice in that area. Yes, you be aware of all the things that are going on as much as you can, but I think that's how we help create impact. Pick the things you're really passionate about. I know one of the things for me is I'm very passionate about making sure people eat. right? And
Yeah.
so if you listen to my Vena conversation, whether it's donations for West Bay Primary or volunteering to do delivery driving for ARC during COVID, or cooking extra plates of food when I can, and like that is something to me, because to me that's a basic necessity. And
Yes.
for me it trickles into so many other things. You can't expect children to learn if they are hungry. You can't expect even adults to go and give a hard day's work if they're hungry. To me, that is one of the core things that we have to make sure those needs are met. So that is something I dedicate a lot of time to, right? And I was super passionate about the petition and the First Peoples Initiative referendum, so I gave time and energy to it. Now there are other things that I can't give that kind of effort to. So I do the things that I'm passionate about, and I think that is a seed that we need to plant in everybody. And I think that was a very important thing that you just said around that. Like, pick the things you're passionate about and get involved.
Yes, and the conversations are happening. There are if some people are out there and they'll be like, oh my God, am I the only one who's thinking that nobody's thinking about our elders, or am I the only one that and it's not. And believe me, the conversations are happening. The groups are out there. The ways are there for you to get involved. And not only that, we don't need to worry about every single issue, because any good works we do is going to trickle into every other thing.
Absolutely.
We can't, if you are concentrating on making sure kids go to school with a full belly, and that is all you think about is I want to stop childhood hunger in Cayman as much as possible, then that will transition into better educations,
right?
Because they will have a full belly ready to receive information, ready to think about things. All of a sudden, that's going to make a better environment, because one of those students is going to say, you know what, there's a better way to do this. It's going to be cleaner and greener, and is going to benefit everybody. And one of those students, because they had a full belly, is going to make a difference in the environment, or might make a difference in creating jobs, or might make a new innovation. So if you start one little good work, you never know what the results of that. It's like when you plant the seed of a tree, going back to your analogy.
Yes.
That tree is going to grow up, and it's going to make some shade for you, and it's going to make some fruit for your family. But also a little bird is going to put a nest in there and raise their little family. And you know what I'm saying? It's like all these reciprocating benefits that keep on growing and keep on growing. And that is what radiates out into our community. And to me, that is the true cultural meaning of Caymankind, of putting culture in action, making it a verb, right?
Yes. And I just want
and
to take a quick moment to, I see,
sure.
I want to give a quick shout out to MLA Kenneth Bryan, who's tuned in on Facebook. And I think he and I are due a visit soon, but I see him tuning in this afternoon. So quick shout out to him, but go ahead.
Nice. Hi, Kenny.
And I think I cut you mid.
No. It was, but it was just getting back to that point of encouraging. The registration just cut off for voting yesterday to be on the October list. But there's going to be voter registration drives happening now that things are opening up, and our ability to be out and about is opening. So I just want to keep encouraging people to push that front.
Yes.
And another aspect of this referendum and the battle that I wanted to bring up, that seems to be popping up again and again on social media and among different people's conversations, is I cannot help but notice how many women were at the lead of the charge of this, were really bearing the flag in the trenches, raising their voice, putting themselves out on social media, putting themselves in the courts, it is, and such an inspiration for me. The entire beach access battle, was started up by Caymanian women.
Yes, very true.
And I really want to encourage, and I know that there are some very, very good candidates out there. I want to see more women get involved in politics and start to lead this country, because I cannot help but feel that it can only benefit us. Seeing the kind of actions that get taken, and the honor that I have in working with and every time I come across a different organization or a different effort that's going on, and I tried to play some music for it or do something for it, try to help out in some small way. There are many, many, many times is a incredible, inspiring woman at the helm.
Shout out to you, Eden. And what I will add to that before we close out the show is stats have proven that when the more women you have involved in the political discussion and in elected office, it often results, and stats have proven it often results in more tackling of the social issues in a society, and it creates a more balanced approach to country governance, because it creates a more balanced approach in terms of not only addressing finances and the economy, but also addressing social needs simultaneously. And they've studied it and they've proven it. And I agree with you that more women do need to take up the opportunity to take the lead in the country. I understand the difficulties and the challenges that women face in considering that decision. And I've said it on air already. The question has been asked of me, and one of the things that I've said is when they install a changing table in the LA, then I can give it consideration, right? So, or even in the bathroom, and so I understand the challenges that women have to grapple with, as often being also the caretakers in the home and all those sorts of things. But it is also necessary that we find a way to increase our numbers of female participation and they're getting elected into the Legislative Assembly. But it is 6:00 on the button. Eden, I think you and I are going to definitely set up some time to spend some have some discussions on air, which we've talked about. So I look forward to that. And
that would be great.
Right? So I look forward to chatting with you on air. But thank you for calling in this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Ruth Anna.
You're
Keep
welcome.
shedding the light.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. It is 6:01 on the Star 92.7 clock, which means I am out of here. And Monday's a public holiday, which means I will be back on Tuesday, as we don't have our live shows on Monday. So have a good weekend. Stay safe. I love you all. Please drive safely and keep it locked all weekend long to Star 92.7.
Drop it on me.